everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about some of the stocks that really kind of crushed it in 2024.
The hidden gems.
Yeah, the ones that people maybe should have known about, but a lot of people didn't.
Looking beyond the obvious.
Exactly. So Lucas Downey over at mapsignals.com wrote a really great article called Top 3 Accumulated Stocks in 2024. And he kind of breaks down some of these stocks that really had incredible growth.
These outlier stocks.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people hear the word outlier and they think, oh, is that just like a risky bet?
Right. Is it a gamble?
Yeah, but Downey's point is no, these are actually fueled by what he calls mega institutional sponsorship. So there's are big funds really making long-term bets.
The smart money.
Yeah, so how can we try to figure out where that smart money is going and maybe get a little insight into what they're seeing?
Following the big institutions.
Exactly. So before we get into the specific stocks, can you just give us a little context about the market in 2024? Was it a good year overall?
Yeah, 2024 was a strong year for the market overall.
Yeah.
And the financial sector actually outperformed tech, which might surprise some people.
Yeah, that is interesting because you always hear so much about tech.
Well, Downey actually had predicted this financial surge back in 2023.
Really?
He was seeing institutional investors piling into financial stocks, and it turns out he was spot on.
Wow.
So he really saw this coming.
I'm already seeing why it's so insightful to kind of understand where this big money is going.
Absolutely.
So let's get into these outlier stocks. So who's our first hidden gem?
So our first standout performer is Apollo Global Management, ticker symbol APO. This private equity firm saw its stock price soar nearly 80% in 2024.
80%. That's
Yeah.
huge. What made them so special?
Well, remember we were talking about following that smart money.
Right.
Well, APO appeared on MapSignal's top 20 list 19 times throughout the year.
Wow.
Now, this list tracks stocks that are seeing significant buying activity from these institutional investors.
Okay.
So it's a pretty strong signal that the big money was seeing something they liked in Apollo.
So this top 20 list is like our cheat sheet.
Exactly.
But what were they seeing in Apollo? What were these investors betting on?
Well, one of the key factors was Apollo's strong earnings growth projections.
Okay.
They were expected to see nearly 20% growth in earnings per share. And that kind of growth potential is catnip for investors.
It makes sense. Investors love companies that are not just doing well today, but are poised for even bigger things down the line.
Absolutely. Growth potential is key.
But were these investors just jumping on the bandwagon late in the game, or did they see this coming?
That's a great question. And what's really fascinating is that APO actually started appearing on that top 20 list way back in January of 2024.
Oh, wow.
So these investors were recognizing Apollo's potential really early on and making their moves throughout the year.
Wow. So those who got in early were in for quite a ride.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm already feeling a little jealous of those investors who spotted this opportunity back then. But hey, that's why we're doing this deep dive, right? To learn from the past and maybe find our own hidden gems in the future. So who's next on our list of outlier stocks?
All right, get ready for this one because our next outlier really takes the cake. Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. A software company known for its government contracts absolutely exploded in 2024, seeing a gain of 340%.
340%, I think my calculator just broke. What on earth caused that kind of surge?
Well, Palantir's success can largely be attributed to one major catalyst, their Q3 2024 earnings report.
Okay.
They absolutely shattered expectations,
Absolutely.
with their guidance for both revenue and operating income far exceeding what Wall Street analysts had predicted.
So they basically blew everyone out of the water with their performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A classic case of a company exceeding expectations and seeing its stock price skyrocket as a result.
So that's a pretty clear signal. If a company's really outperforming what everyone thinks they're going to do.
It gets attention,
Yeah.
and that translates into stock price appreciation.
So we've got this private equity play with Apollo. We've got this software powerhouse with Palantir, who's our third outlier.
Our third outlier is Arista Networks, ticker symbol ANET. They're a major player in the AI space, and 2024 really solidified their dominance. Like Apollo, they were a consistent presence on that top 20 list, appearing 15 times throughout the year. Again, a really clear sign of strong institutional interest.
So the big money was definitely watching.
Absolutely.
But what was it about Arista that caught their eye? Was it just the general excitement around AI, or was there something more specific about their business that made them stand out?
Well, what makes Arista truly exceptional is their phenomenal earnings growth. Their earnings per share, which is a key measure of profitability, were projected to jump significantly over the next couple of years. And Downey highlights a really fascinating detail. Arista has actually been on Map Signal's radar since 2014.
Wait, so they've been attracting attention for a decade?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Were they always a top performer, or was there a sudden breakout moment?
Well, what's remarkable is their consistency. Since 2014, they've appeared on that top 20 list a staggering 82 times.
82 times. That's wild.
And that sustained interest has translated into a mind-boggling return of over 2,200%.
2,200%. That's what I call long-term growth. I'm starting to see why Downey calls their stock chart a stairway to heaven. But for those of us who maybe aren't familiar with stock charts, can you explain what that visually looks like and why it's significant for investors?
Sure. So imagine a staircase steadily climbing upwards.
Okay.
That's what Arista's stock chart resembles.
Okay.
It indicates this consistent long-term growth without any major dips or crashes. It's the kind of chart that makes investors dream.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it's not about this quick spike. It's about that steady, sustained growth over time. That's a powerful image, and it really highlights the potential rewards of long-term investing when you find the right companies.
Absolutely. And Arista's story is a prime example of long-term growth fueled by consistent institutional backing.
Right.
Those investors saw the potential early on and continued to pour money in and reap the rewards of their patience and foresight.
I gotta be honest, I'm starting to get a little envious of these early Arista investors. But again, that's why we're on this deep dive, to learn from these examples and maybe find our own hidden gems before they hit that 2,200% mark. So what are some of the key takeaways we can glean from these three outlier stocks? What made them so attractive to those big-time investors?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore more in depth after a quick break. Stay tuned.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back and ready to dig even deeper into these outlier stocks. We've got Apollo Global Management, the private equity powerhouse Palantir, the software giant exceeding expectations, and Arista Networks, the AI leader with that stairway to heaven chart. What I'm curious about are the common threads. What made these companies so appealing to those mega institutional investors? Is there like a secret formula we can unlock?
You know, it's interesting because while each of these companies operate in very different sectors, there are some striking similarities in what attracted those institutional investors.
That's what I was hoping for. So spill the beans. What's the secret sauce?
Look, first and foremost, it's all about growth.
Hmm.
All three companies were either demonstrating strong earnings growth or had the potential for it. Earnings growth is essentially a measure of how much profit a company is generating.
Right.
And it's a crucial factor for investors because it often translates into a higher stock price.
Right. Because ultimately investors want to see their investments grow. So it's not enough for a company to be doing well right now. It needs to show that it can continue to grow and increase its profits over time.
Absolutely. Investors are always looking for companies that are positioned for long-term success.
So it's like looking for those athletes who have the potential to become superstars. It's not just about their current stats. It's about their talent, their drive, and their potential to achieve greatness. But with companies, it's not just about the numbers, is it? There's got to be more to the story.
You're absolutely right. Another key factor is the quality of the management team.
Okay.
Institutional investors are essentially betting on the people running the show.
Right.
They want to see a leadership team with a clear vision, a solid track record, and the ability to navigate challenges and seize opportunities.
Okay. So it's like that old saying, bet on the jockey, not the horse.
Exactly.
But in this case, it seems like we've got both impressive jockeys and some pretty strong horses.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's not just about having a great CEO. It's also about being in the right race, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to another important point. The sectors these companies operate in.
Right. We can't ignore the broader market trends. So what's the story there? Were these companies just lucky to be in the right place at the right time?
Well, there's always an element of timing in the market. But these companies weren't just riding some random wave. They were operating in sectors that are experiencing strong tailwinds, meaning they have powerful forces pushing them forward.
So give us some examples. What kind of tailwinds are we talking about?
Think about the explosion of data in recent years. Companies like Palantir, with their expertise in data analytics, are perfectly positioned to help organizations make sense of all that information.
So they're like the master puzzle solvers of the digital age, helping companies find the hidden patterns and insights within their data.
Exactly. And then there's the increasing reliance on artificial intelligence.
Right.
Arista Networks, with its focus on AI infrastructure, is providing the building blocks for this technological revolution.
So they're like the architects of the AI world, providing the tools and platforms that are enabling all these incredible advancements.
That's precisely. And let's not forget about Apollo Global Management, operating in the world of private equity.
Right.
There's a growing demand for alternative investments. And private equity firms like Apollo are attracting huge sums of capital from investors seeking to diversify their portfolios.
Okay. So we've got data AI and the rise of alternative investments. These are major long-term trends that are shaping the market.
Exactly. And these outlier companies are not just riding these trends, they're actively shaping them, pushing the boundaries, and innovating in ways that are attracting both investors and customers.
So for our listeners who might not be professional investors, what are the key takeaways here? How can they apply these insights to their own investment approach?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And I think one of the most important lessons here is the power of research. Don't just jump on the bandwagon or chase the hype. Take the time to understand a company's business model, its competitive landscape, and its financial health.
So it's like becoming a financial detective, piecing together the clues to figure out if a company is truly worth investing in.
I love that analogy
Yeah.
because that's exactly what it's about. Look for companies that are operating in sectors with strong growth potential and have a clear competitive advantage. And don't forget about the management team. Do they have the experience and the vision to lead the company to success?
So we need to be looking beyond the headlines, digging deeper into the story behind the numbers. But for many people, the world of investing can feel intimidating. Where do they even begin?
That's a valid concern. Investing can seem complex, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. There are so many resources available to help people get started. Start with your own interests. Are you passionate about technology, healthcare, renewable energy? Focus on sectors that you understand and find compelling.
So start with what you know and build from there. That's great advice.
Exactly. And remember, investing isn't a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right.
It's about making informed decisions, being patient, and letting your investments grow over time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And along the way, there will be ups and downs, but if you've done your research and you believe in the companies you're investing in, you're more likely to stay the course and weather those storms.
This has been so insightful. We've gone from feeling envious of those early investors to feeling empowered to find our own hidden gems. But I know there's more to Downey's analysis. He also offered some specific advice on how to approach the market in 2025.
He did, and he used a really clever analogy to illustrate his point.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's dive into that analogy and uncover Downey's final insights in part 3 of our deep dive. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive, and I'm ready to hear this analogy from Downey about how to approach the market in 2025.
Well, he compares the market to a vast, untamed wilderness. And he says to find those hidden treasures, those outlier stocks that can really supercharge your portfolio, you need a map.
So it's like we're explorers setting out into uncharted territory,
Exactly.
looking for those companies that others might be missing.
You got it.
Okay.
And Downey argues that Map Signals, his platform, can actually act as that map. It's designed to help investors identify companies that are showing strong institutional buying,
Okay.
that undercurrent of activity from those big funds that often precedes significant price movements.
So it's like having a guide, a seasoned explorer who knows where to look for those hidden trails leading to the gold mines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about recognizing that success in the market isn't just about luck. It's about having the right tools and insights to navigate this complex landscape.
It makes me think about all those adventure stories where someone stumbles upon a hidden treasure map. But it's not just about having the map, right? You need to know how to read it, how to interpret the clues and chart your course.
Absolutely. Downey really emphasizes the importance of combining those Map Signals insights with your own research and due diligence. It's about understanding the fundamentals of the companies you're considering, their financials, their management team, and the overall market trends affecting their industry.
So it's a blend of art and science.
Yes.
You're using data and analytics to guide you, but you're also trusting your instincts and your ability to kind of assess a company's potential.
Precisely. And I think there's something really empowering about that. It's a reminder that we're not just passive observers in the market. We can be active participants, making informed decisions and really charting our own financial destinies.
I like that. It really flips the script on how a lot of people view investing. It's not just about blindly following the crowd or hoping for the best. It's about taking control, doing your homework, and having the confidence to make your own choices.
That's the spirit. And, even though we've been focusing on these outliers, these really exceptional performers, I think the lessons that we've learned apply to any investment approach. It's about being informed, being strategic, and having the courage to kind of explore beyond the obvious.
I completely agree. And I love that Downey encourages investors to embrace that adventurous spirit, to be willing to venture off the beaten path and seek out those companies that others might be missing.
Yeah, be curious, Ask questions, and don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. That's how you uncover those hidden gems.
This whole conversation has felt like a treasure hunt in itself. We started with this intriguing article, we followed the clues, and uncovered some really valuable insights about how to approach the market.
And just like any good treasure hunt, there's always more to discover. As Downey says, use a map to find tomorrow's top stocks today. He believes that with the right approach and the right tools, anyone can find those companies that have the potential to really transform their portfolios.
I love that. So, for our listeners who are feeling inspired and ready to embark on their own investment adventures, what's the best way to get started?
Well, first and foremost, define your goals. What are you hoping to achieve through investing? Are you saving for retirement? A down payment on a house? Once you know your destination, you can start mapping out your route.
It's like planning a road trip. You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without knowing where you want to go.
Exactly. And just like any journey, there will be challenges along the way. But with careful planning and a bit of that adventurous spirit, you can navigate those obstacles and reach your destination.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. We've not only learned about these incredible outlier stocks, but we've also gained some really valuable insights into how to approach the market with confidence and a sense of adventure.
And it's been a good reminder that investing can be both intellectually stimulating and financially rewarding.
For those who want to dig even deeper, I highly recommend checking out Lucas Downey's work on mapsignals.com. It's a treasure trove of insights for anyone looking to navigate the market and uncover those hidden gems that can truly make a difference in their portfolios.
Absolutely. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn about investing, the more confident you'll become in making informed decisions that align with your financial goals.
So, to all our listeners, as you embark on your own investment journeys, remember to be curious, be bold, and never stop exploring. And who knows, maybe you'll uncover the next outlier stock that takes the market by storm. Happy investing, everyone.